A very good morning to everyone. This is Kulsoom Khan, a student of law at Nirma University. Presently, I'm doing an internship with Amikus Qriae. And so today's topic is analytical overview of the Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act 2019. So I shall be discussing about it in the next few minutes. So let's begin. So, firstly, what is this bill, which is the Transgender Persons Protection of Rights? So, Parliament has passed this, which had been framed for the welfare of transgender persons. So, it was passed in Lok Sabha in August 5 in 2019, a month after its introduction in the House, and the Rajya Sabha cleared it on November 26, with a last minute move to refer it to a select committee being defeated in a voice vote. Committee had organized protests across the country urging changes to the bill, claiming that in the form in which the central government had conceived it, it showed a poor understanding of gender and sexual identity. So, where the government claims that this bill is of, um, um, you know, of highest benefit for the transgender persons, on the contrary, they have protested in and they think and showcased that they do not think in any manner that the bill is for their respect. So let's delve into the objections of the bill. So activists have problems right from the beginning, starting with the name. Transgender was restrictive, they argued, and it showed a lack of understanding of the complexities in people who do not conform to the gender, binary male or female, charging that the bill had serious flaws because of this basic lack of comprehension about gender. Some activists also wrote an alternative wish bill outlining their demands. The bill was meant to be a consequence of the directions of the Supreme Court of India and the National Legal Service Authority versus Union of India case judgment, mandating the central and state governments to ensure legal recognition of all transgender persons and proactive measures instituted for their welfare. Activists barked back to this judgment of April 2014, chastising the union government for failing to live up to the opportunity to ensure that the fundamental rights are guaranteed to all people, regardless of their sex, gender identity. Rejecting transgender as the nomenclature, they suggested instead the title should be comprehensive gender identity, gender expression, and sex characteristics protection of rights bill, and in definition sought to introduce the distinction between transgenders and intersex persons upfront. Members of the community perceive transgender as different from intersex and were insistent that the distinction be made in the bill. So, transgenders have a different gender identity than what was assigned to them at birth, while intersex indicates diversity of gender based on biological characteristics, ambiguity in anatomical genitalia at birth. There are also multiple variations in intersex itself. While the act is progressive in that it allows self perception of identity, it mandates a certificate from a district magistrate declaring the holder to be transgender. This goes against the principle of self determination itself. Activists argue, also pointing out that there is no room for redress in case an appeal for such certificate is rejected. One long pending demand has been to declare forced, unnecessary, and non consensual sex reassignment surgery illegal and to enforce punitive action for violations. Transgender and intersex persons might require a range of unique healthcare needs, and that should have been incorporated into the act, activists argue. While the Act envisages the setting up of a National Council for Transgender Persons to provide the institutional framework for its implementation, suggestions on the composition of a such council or the demand to set up a working group for a council for intersex persons were also ignored. What is the historical context? In 2013, government set up an expert committee to study the problems of transgenders and recommended solutions. The committee, comprising experts from various fields and members of the community, also looked at past experiences, as in the state of Tamil Nadu, which had set up a welfare board for transgender persons and made recommendations right from allowing third gender in official forms to setting up of special toilets and customizing health interventions. Earlier this year, the bench of the Madras High Court declared a ban on sex normalization surgeries on intersex children and infants, relying on a petition to the National Human Rights Commission on the subject from Gopi Shankar, an activist. Tamil Nadu government followed this up with issuing a government order banning such surgeries. In 2014, a private member bill, The Rights of Transgendered Persons, was introduced in Rajya Sabha by Tiruchi Siva, a member of parliament from Tamil Nadu, which looked at the range of entitlements of such persons, providing specifically for them in health, education sectors. It was passed also in the Rajya Sabha. In 2016, government introduced its own bill in the Lok Sabha and it was referred to a standing committee, which made a number of recommendations, including defining the term persons with intersex variations, granting reservations for socially and educationally backward classes, and recognition of civil rights, including marriage, partnership, divorce, and adoption. What is the future? Well, the community is miffed that the bill has become an act without any effort to make valid or relevant changes to its original composition. It worries about how implementation will address the pressing needs of the community. It only hopes that the National Council for Transgender Persons will allow for a more favorable implementation of the law and thus provide more elbow room for genuine representations of the community that the bill itself failed to accommodate. So that was it regarding an analytical overview of the transgender bill that was passed as an act in 2019. Thank you so much.